Alright, welcome back. Let's talk blades, because that's what we're into. Today I have for you guys my Emerson collection and the Emerson Wave. Now, a lot of people say... I get mixed feelings on the Emerson knife. Overall thoughts and feelings. There are people out there that like them, if you can afford them, and there are people out there that simply do not, for decent reason, in my opinion. And the way I say it like that is because it's a hit and miss for a very expensive knife. And what I mean by very expensive is anything above $100, because a $100 knife is already pretty expensive. Anything that's like 200 and up can be a bit of a damper when it comes to trying just to keep a budget and get a knife that you want that can actually be used. I'm not saying that certain knives can't be used, but what I'm saying is that certain knives are made for certain tasks and certain things. Not every knife is capable of doing everything. But I can tell you that, yeah, it's a blade, yes, it cuts, and yeah, you can use it for whatever the hell you want to. But these knives in particular, voila, these knives are considered tactical knives meant for self-defense and or your EDC, everyday carry kind of tasks. So it's supposed to be kind of in that way. Now, I know that you're counting 7 right now. But there is an 8th one, and I have it on me right now. I'm actually carrying it, and I'm going to be carrying it for a little while. I haven't carried an Emerson knife in a while because they're kind of expensive, and they're not exactly easy to replace, at least in my book. But they're great. All of them they're very great. This one is a little off, in my opinion, and I'll get to that in a moment. But they all look the same, essentially. When you do purchase these knives, you do get a couple stickers. Oh no, I shouldn't say just one sticker. It's like an oval sticker that has the Emerson kind of gorilla skull looking face, and it says Emerson knives, well known in the worst places, something like that. So anyways, let's get to it. Some of these knives you're going to be able to find, some of them you're not. So I'm just going to start off with my least favorite is this one right here. And this is the Emerson CQC-8. This is basically like a Bowie clip point type knife, half serrations, and it has the kind of like a black nitrate coating on there, I think. If not, it's like some sort of black metal paint on there. DLC, I don't know what you guys want to call it. You can call it whatever. You can go to the website on Emerson and see if you know what that is. These are G10 handle scales, and these are steel liners that are in there, so it's liner lock. And a very strong pocket clip, very reminiscent to cold steel in my opinion, because these pocket clips do not bend if they get caught on stuff, and it's very difficult for them to get caught on stuff. Open pillar construction, easy to clean, easy to maintain. What I like about these is that it doesn't have Torx. As you can tell, it does not use Torx, because a lot of knives have torque. But these are just like regular, you got the Phillips flathead right here as your pivot, or you can bust out a coin and you can actually twist it using like a penny or a quarter or something, or a dime, if you need to tighten the pivot. And it has just your regular screwdriver bits, even on the pocket clip. And what makes that is, I guess the idea behind that, and all of these have them, the idea behind that is any tool that you have readily available should be able to maintain your knife. So, say you're out on the field and all you have is your knife and you need to fix it or repair it or tighten some screws or even take it apart for whatever reason, you can do that with just your knife, excuse me, your tools that you have on you, so you don't have to go looking around for a Torx tool bit. So here's this one, and right here, this one's actually I want to say my ultimate favorite. I just love the way it fits in the hand. It fits perfectly. It fits really, really well. Really big lanyard hole right here on the bottom. Very thick knife. And this is the E-TAC 8 Emerson. Of course, you got the Emerson wave. So you deploy it out the pocket, and when it gets caught on the seam of your pocket, it'll pop it open really quick and ready to go, ready for use. The E-TAC, I think it's the Emerson Tactical Advantage knife. I think, I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember what the E-TAC stands for, but I think that's something close to that. If not, I could be wrong. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've ever tried to look these knives up. Had them for years, and the last time I went on the website, the most recent purchase was the Quaken by Emerson, and that's this one right here. And I bought this probably like a year or two back. So this was my most recent purchase through Emerson. I normally buy t-shirts from them, and yeah, the t-shirts even come with stickers, so you can sport your Emerson. This one's also kind of my favorite right here, if I can get it in focus. This is I'm so sorry, the CQC-15 by Emerson, and this one's kind of like a modified Tonto. This takes after another knife. I forgot what the name of it was, but it's kind of like a mixture of one knife and another knife. So it's kind of got that kind of like a belly, and then you got that kind of different Tonto tip right there. But this one also feels really good in the hand. And the only reason why I'm not giving out any prices on these, prices, I don't know why, they're different everywhere. If you go to the actual website on Emerson, they're going to be a little over $200 for each of them. So yeah, it's kind of breaking the budget, in my opinion. And then this one is your Emerson Karambit. I've carried this one maybe for half a day, and I just decided to put it away because I liked it way too much. It was way too easy to deploy out the pocket. It was way too much fun, and I kind of liked it since then, so I decided to just go ahead and put it away. Most of these knives, I want to say, are 4-inch blades, if not all of them. This one is... Wait, hold on, before I get to that one. I hate the name of this knife, but I love the way it feels. It's very ergonomic. Very ergonomic. And you got this choil, this huge kind of like guard right there, so it makes it to where you cannot, if you thrust with this knife, you cannot go forward with it. The jimping is, it's not aggressive, but you can feel it, like bumps, half serration. And this is called the Roadhouse. I hate the name of this knife. I just think it's such a silly name for such an awesome knife. The Roadhouse, really? I don't know if he's a fan of Chuck Norris or if he just loves watching the Roadhouse, but I don't know how this is I guess this is the Americanized Oriental self-defense. I don't know. That's the only thing that can really come to mind thinking about why they would even name this the Roadhouse. But this is also a modified Tonto. It's kind of got a curve to it, so it's kind of got a sweep. And the blade, it's really nice. It feels amazing. Also, you can get a full grip on it, forward and reverse grip. So if you really want to, like I said, if you really want to know the price of these knives, you'd have to go to the Emerson website. Some of these have been discontinued, so that's why I'm not really giving out prices, because it's going to be difficult to really come across one of these. If you do, it could be through eBay or through another knife seller if they have them in stock. Some of these I got from Amazon. So here we go again with the Emerson Super CQC-7. So yeah, this one's a little bit bigger The original CQC-7 is a little bit shorter, but this one, I forgot the name, but it's basically only sharpened on one side. Chisel ground, that's what it's called. Chisel ground edge. Apparently this is supposed to be a lot easier to sharpen out in the field because it's only sharpened on one side, so you should only be able to sharpen one side. I've never really had to sharpen a chisel ground knife before, but I can only imagine it being a headache because I haven't heard anything good about actually sharpening a chisel ground knife because it's only sharpened on one side. So it's only got one side and the other side just kind of, blank. Excuse me, let me turn on the light for you guys because it's starting to get dark outside. And then here's the other knife. This is the Super. The CQC-8, the Super CQC-8. This one's huge. This is a really big knife. This is for one of those days if I really feel like I need that extra protection and I carry this guy around. Kind of like a scimitar kind of feel to it. And it has a huge handle. This one was probably the most expensive. I think this one I paid close to $270 or $280, so almost $300 for this guy. And one of the reasons, I know a lot of people ask why these knives are so expensive. They are handmade in a warehouse by a small group of people. I don't know if they're made to order, although I've heard someone tell me that they were made to order. So once you order it, they make it, and then they ship it out to you. The blade steel is not really, I think, don't quote me on it, the blade steel, I think, is just a little bit better than AUS 8. I forgot what the blade steel is on there. I don't think it's an 8CR, but you can look it up if you really want to. I really don't care what the blade steel is on these guys because they're just great, and they've kept an edge for a decent amount of time. But for the price, if you guys are really, really wondering about it, you guys can look it up on the Emerson website, or you can go on Amazon. I think Amazon might still have a few of these, I think. So this is the one that I currently carry, and the reason why I carry this is for a few reasons, actually. I carry this one because, first of all, it's an Emerson, so it has that hook if I really need to deploy the knife. Secondly, this is a great self-defense knife. And with how crazy things are getting nowadays, it's good to have just a little bit more confidence on me if I really feel necessary to have something that'll just, give me that sense of security. This is something that I carry on me. This knife is probably, and I've heard stories about Emerson knives being not so great, the poor quality in them. And I can tell you offhand, when I got this one, and you can probably still see it, you can, just a little bit, right here, right where my finger is, there's a little bit of a blemish. There was a burn mark from here all the way down to around about there with the teeth. Like somebody who was sharpening this by hand did it really quick and did not clean it up. And they put it together and shipped it. So like I said, these are all handmade. They're not made by machine. They are handmade by a group of people in a warehouse at the actual Emerson facility. These knives are very like I said, they're hit and miss. If you can see the locking on there, it's more than halfway. I don't know if that's a problem to some people. To me, it's not. As long as it locks, that's all I care about, really. But some people are like, oh, the locking's early, or oh, the locking's late. I really don't care. As long as the lock works and it keeps the knife from going anywhere, that's all I really care about. So to some people, that's not good. Some people want the locking to be early, so that way when it wears down over time, it has more time to wear down, and you don't have to worry about your knife, I guess, failing on you. Like I said, in my mind, if the lock works, it works, and you shouldn't have to worry about your knife. But to some people, that's different. This is my least favorite. Actually, it's my most favorite and my least liked. How about that? Because this is a traditional Tonto. And and it's also modeled after the actual Quaken knife that I do not own. I don't actually own a real Quaken from, I forgot the company name that makes it, but I found this to be very nice. I like it very much. But the only problem, and I get this from, I think it's, which one? This one right here, the E-TAC. This guy, it's really hard to unlock him. The lock, you get really bad lock stick with this guy. This one, you get the worst lock stick ever. When I draw this out my pocket and I use the Emerson Wave on there, it goes all the way to the back. Like it locks it up super tight, but you can't, you have to really press down. And that was me just flicking it open. When it comes out my pocket, it turns into an instant fixed blade. It's really hard to depress the lock. Even like that, you see? And that shows me that there was a measurement here somewhere that wasn't up to par, and it shouldn't have left the facility. And not to mention, the blade centering is more that way. It's not grinding, it's not rubbing, it's fine, but it's more that way. So if you get an Emerson knife, I have to tell you, just be aware that there's gonna be some imperfections because it's handmade, and whoever inspects it, if there are people that actually inspect it before it goes out, they're only inspecting it to make sure it functions, and it does and performs what it needs to do, what it needs to have, which is a sharp edge that's able to cut, a lock that's able to work, and everything's put together. And by that time, they will just send it out. And I think that's what they look at. They don't really look at whether or not, it's good. I've heard stories how the handle scales right here, one is, they're not even. Like, one is sticking up farther than the other one, or that they'll come and they'll see like a screw missing. That sort of thing. Mine is the lock stick. Oh, and here's one funny thing. I don't know if you guys can hear that. You guys probably can't. But every time that I squeeze down, if I squeeze really hard on this, you can actually hear the lock shift. And this, you can hear it kind of. You can hear it just kind of moving, which tells me that there's a measurement that's off, and this knife was a little over $200. So just be aware that when you buy an Emerson knife, you're going to get some imperfections, and you might not like Emerson very much because of it. And of course, a lot of people say the gimmick to Emerson is the wave, because that's what they're known for. Intentionally, Ernie Emerson, when he made these knives, that was supposed to be like a sort of blade catch. When you're in knife combat, you're supposed to be able to catch the other knife or catch the other blade with a hook that's protruding from the spine of the knife. It's kind of like a combat kind of thing. But instead, what he invented was a knife that would deploy faster than any switchblade on the market, and it being California legal, because the mechanism to unlock the blade is attached to the blade rather than separate like on a switchblade, because the switch is separate from the blade, which makes the deployment quicker, I guess. I don't know, but it ended up, a switchblade is illegal, and these blades are 100% legal. You can carry them, at least as far as I know. Since having them, I've bought them, and they were shipped to me, and they were made in the state of California, so these are legal. As far as you being caught with them, if you have them on you and law enforcement sees these, I don't know, it just depends on the police officer and whether or not they want to make a big deal out of it. But I can tell you that they are a wonder to carry. I absolutely love it, and I am going to make a video on how to use the Emerson Wave and other wave-like knives that I have in my collection, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna do that video at some point in time, and you might even see my face. It just depends on how I feel. But these are very, very great knives, all of them. just go to emerson.com or Emerson Knives, type in Google, and you will find the Emerson website, and you'll be able to look up these knives, or knives very similar to them, because they are handmade, and some of these are discontinued, or you're not able to really find them. You can find them in other places, sure, but expect to pay a pretty penny for them. But this is the one that I carry, and I carry it because, you know, it's not perfect, but it's effective, and it's great for self-defense, and it's low-key. It's not pretty. None of these knives are made to be pretty. They're made to function. They are intended for use and abuse. So kind of like a knockoff Cold Steel, but these knives are very, very accurate with locking and durability, at least as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I don't beat up my knives, but just regular everyday use, these knives will last you a long time, for years and years to come. Of course, if you beat them up against a rock, or if you're chopping down a tree with them, then yeah, I can see how that's going to affect the overall performance. If you're wondering how sharp these knives are, I will go ahead and do a cutting demonstration. I cut a sticker off with this knife. That's probably the only thing I've ever used this knife for, is a sticker. So why not? Here's some messed up paper. These knives come pretty decently sharp. You see that? And yes, that is all of them here. They do the same exact thing. Each and every one of them are just as sharp as the last. So when you get these knives, don't expect anything less. They are very sharp, all of them. Do you get what you pay for? In my opinion, I think you do. I think you do. But not everybody's going to agree on that, and that's okay. So, like I said, there's a lot of people that either hate them or like them. You be the judge. I will see you guys in the next video.